for what we're doing this morning, you don't have to use a blanket. You could also use for half of it like a pillow from the couch or a pillow from your bed. But this first part, you would use a blanket. And you take the blanket and you tri-fold it. So all I did was I accordion folded it. So it was holding it long ways. I laid it down and I folded it in a third, and then I came back and folded it another third. All right, so it makes a dense blanket folded in thirds. And that's what you would lay down on if you do not have a bolster and a block, an accordion fold blanket in thirds. You could double stack them too. You could use 2 of them. All right, so on the ground, again, if you do not have a bolster and a block or even a blanket, you can do this just laying on the ground. You do not need all these props. So settling your pelvis on the block, if it's available, and from your ribs up to your shoulder girdle on the bolster. So there's a space in between your pelvis and where your ribs begin, between the block and the bolster. So when we practice yoga, there's efficacies of the practice, or how do we know what we're doing works, is affecting us. And we know that yoga, for many, is a series of stretches that help feel better, right? They help us feel better in the body. Yoga is also a philosophical practice. So when the teachings begin to settle within us and we remember who we really are, because we're always forgetting who we are. And as we enter this state of being, that it starts to become how we are on a daily basis, one of the efficacies is that our actions and our words are truthful. They're life affirming and uplifting. And that's just one of the many efficacies of the practice. So as you lay here just at the beginning of class with your pelvis heavy, your heart open, arms turned open so palms face the sky, just checking in from your regular practice of yoga, have you recognized that one of the fruits of the practice is that you're more truthful, your disposition towards life is more life affirming, and in general, do you have an uplifting nature? Place your hands at your heart. Offer gratitude for the practice. And then release your hands and open your eyes. We're just going to lift and lower our arms 5 times. So on an in-breath, raise your arms up to the ceiling. Maybe they'll go over your head. Exhale your arms down by your side. In-breath, arms shoot up towards the ceiling. They might go up and over your head. Exhale them straight down by your side. 3 more times. In-breath up. Exhale to return the arms towards the mat. Last 2. As you finish on this next one, keep your arms down by your side. Take a snow angel arm now, palms open, and make a snow angel. Exhale your arms down by your side. So it's like you're spreading your wings, right? So the wings come out from your side body down near your pelvis, and they flourish open all the way along the length of you, up and over your head. One more time, opening and closing your snow angel wings. Take your arms out to a T now, so they're in the letter T. And then as you exhale, round your arms and bring your hands across your chest. So your hands might touch one another above your chest. Inhale, open your arms out to a T. And we just have 3 more of those. So opening and closing the arms from T shape to above the chest, arms are rounded. Move with breath. Keep your arms open at the T the next time they're down there, and then snow angel your arms down by your side. Making a circle now. Arms go up towards the ceiling, out to a T, and down by your side. So they're arm circles up to the ceiling. Open them out to the T shape. Bring your arms snow angeling them down to your side. One more time, making your circle in this direction, and then we'll reverse it. Open to your T, bring your arms up to the ceiling, exhale down by your side. You have 2 more. Breathe. As your arms come down by your side in this next one, if you're on a block, lift your pelvis, take the block out. And if you're on a blanket or a bolster, roll to your side, come on up. So removing the prop for the moment, and then just turn your bolster. So block has gone out of the way. Turn your bolster onto a perpendicular. Yeah, that's perpendicular to the body. So it's turned sideways. And now lay down on your right side on the bolster. So you're going to lay down on your right side. Your ribs and your armpit are on it. Now, if you don't have a bolster, you're placing a blanket or a pillow underneath the rib cage area. So the bolster or the blanket or the pillow is underneath the ribs and up into the armpit. Stack your legs, stack your feet. Inhale, take your arms up and over your head. So top arm up and over your head. Exhale your top arm down by your side. Squeeze your legs together. Reach from your pelvis to your feet. We just have this 2 more times, reaching up and over our head. All right, take your top arm up and over your head. Grab onto your top wrist with your bottom hand. Breathe. Now reach more from your pelvis to your feet as you flex at the ankles and spread your toes. Reach from your pelvis to your armpits and stretch. Next, exhale, top arm down. Bring your top knee to your chest on an exhale. So again, you could be side lying without any props. You don't have to have the bolster or the blanket. Top knee to chest. Take your top hand, hold it at your shin bone, and then slide your hand down your shin bone till you reach your ankle joint. Holding at your ankle joint, bring your knee underneath you. So knee is stacked with pelvis. Your arm that's holding your leg, bend the elbow. Take the head of your arm bone back and spread your toes on both feet. Without moving your left knee, so your left knee is not going to move behind you. It's going to stay directly underneath your pelvis. So you're trying to stay in neutral ribs, even though you're on a bolster or blanket. Try to push your foot behind you, but don't let your knee move back. If you try to push with your heel, your leg behind you, but don't let your knee move, it'll facilitate a bigger quad stretch. Breathe. Keep that. Move your tailbone forward. So tail moves forward, belly moves back. And those 2 actions will also increase the stretch in the front of the thigh. Next breath, extend your top leg out. Let's just pick up the long leg and lower it. So top leg, pick it up, raise it up, good, and lower it down. In breath up, exhale down. One more time, just lifting and lowering, and then keep it down. Let's flip to the other side. So you can roll over. We're repeating the same thing on the second side. If you have a bolster or a blanket or a pillow, it's going in your rib cage area between the ribs and the armpit. Stack your pelvis and your rib cage and your shoulder girdle so they're aligned. You're not falling forward or back. Reach from your pelvis to your feet just a little bit more. And now your top arm, in breath it up and over your head. Exhale it down by your side. We'll do that 4 more times. Big reach. Continue to squeeze your legs together as you spread your toes. 2 more times, top arm moving. This is all good lung work. The bolster or the pillow is helping open the rib cage area where the lungs are. The arm movement really facilitates that with breath too. Top arm up and over your head. Grab your top wrist with your bottom hand and stretch. So now from your pelvis to your feet, reach in the direction of your feet towards the space or the wall at your feet. Big reach as you squeeze your legs together. And then to open up the side waist a little bit more, reach from your pelvis up through your armpit to your fingertips, just a little bit more. All right, next exhale, top arm down by your side. Your top leg, bring your knee to your chest. Top leg, knee to chest. Top arm, place it just beneath the knee, so it's on the top of the shin bone. Slide your hand down your shin bone till it meets your ankle joint. And then swing your right knee in alignment with your pelvis. So it'll stack with your bottom knee. Top knee, bottom knee stacking. On your top leg, spread your toes a little bit more, flex at the ankle. Keeping your top arm slightly bent, move the head of your arm bone back. Breathe. And now as if you're going to kick open a door, but your top knee doesn't move, press through your right heel. So it's an isometric movement. The leg's not going anywhere. It's an action. Keep that. Move your belly back and your tail forward. Take a couple more breaths. And now stretch your top leg out, releasing with your hand. Push with your hands as you tuck both knees to your chest and sit up. Move your bolster or your blanket and your blocks, move all that out of the way. You're not going to need it. And let's come up to standing. Come all the way up to standing. Stand at the top of your mat and just feel you did some sweet opening through the rib cage area and through the front of the legs. So just feel how it is in the legs. Mine feel pretty awesome. Inhale, take a big breath up. Exhale, have a seat chair pose. Fold forward to Uttanasana, step back to plank. Push with your hands and your feet. Breathe. And on the next exhale, knees to the mat. Lower all the way down onto your belly. Squeezing your arms towards the midline, claw with your hands. Pull your heart forward to come up. Keep pressing down through your legs, squeezing your legs together. Heart moves forward, lower down. Push up into all fours. From all fours, place your hands underneath your shoulder girdle, knees beneath your pelvis. Step your right leg back behind you, toes tucked under. Extend your left arm forward, thumb to the ceiling. Reach from your right side of your pelvis to your right heel to lift your right leg up. Take 2 more breaths here. Right leg down, left hand down. Back to all fours position, hands and knees. Breathe. Step your left leg back behind you, toes tucked under, foot stays on the ground. Extend your right arm forward, thumb to the ceiling. Breathe. Push with your left foot. Keep the tone of your left leg. Lift your left leg up and breathe. Right hand down, left leg down, back to all fours. Walk your hand a full handprint forward. Tuck your toes, push with your hands and feet, tip your sitting bones to the sky, and come up and back into downward facing dog. Bend your knees here. And as you continue to breathe, lift your sitting bones up to the sky and draw down through your tail. Root now from the bottom of your heart down through your arms into your hands as you keep your ribs and your armpits lifted. Extend from your heart through your pelvis, down your legs and into your heels, and lengthen your legs any amount. So you begin to open your dog up just a little bit. Walk your hands and your feet towards one another. Bring your hands to your pelvis. Move your heart forward. Inhale and come up. Exhale and release your arms down. Walk to the top of your mat. Inhale, take a big breath up. Exhale, chair pose. Breathe in. Use another exhale. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Step your right foot back for a lunge. Hands stay on the ground. Breathe. Push with your left foot. Step your right foot forward. Standing in your right foot, step your left leg back for a lunge. Step heavy into your right foot to swing your left leg forward. Hands to your pelvis, heart moves forward. In breath and come up. Release your arms down by your side. Take a wide stance on your mat, please. Your right foot is your back foot. You might look opposite of me. That's fine. I'm teaching right, left, and I am practicing right, left. So right foot turning slightly in, left foot turning all the way open. Reach your arms up to the sky, out to a T. Hinge from your hips, trikonasana, triangle pose. Breathe. Top hand to pelvis, release the front hip, come into a knee bend on the front leg. So you're in the beginning form of side angle pose. Reach your top arm back up to the sky. You could definitely have your bottom arm resting on your thigh bone and pushing down. Top arm all the way over your head. Breathe. Turn from your bottom ribs, your left ribs, more to the sky. Turn your bottom ribs, bottom belly, like the pit of the belly, down in the pelvic bowl, more to the sky. Push with both feet, inhale and come up. Well done. All right, left foot's gonna be your back foot, so turn it slightly in. Right foot will be your front foot, turn it all the way open. Reach your arms up to the sky, out to a T. Pull your feet towards one another. On an exhale, triangle pose. Toes and pull your feet towards one another. From the base of your ribs, your bottom ribs, pit of your belly. Turn from right to left. Bring your top hand to your pelvis. Release. Knee bend on your front leg. Now again, your right hand doesn't need to be on the floor. It could be on a yoga block. It could be resting on your right thigh bone. Steady through the legs by pulling both feet towards one another. Take your top arm back. Circle your arm over your head and reach. Breathe. Anchor down from pelvis to heels as you spread your toes. And on an inhale, come up. Exhale and release your arms. Turn your feet parallel, heel toe, heel toe, heel toe, come together. Grab your bolster or your blanket or your pillow. Just have it handy. We're going to scooch it into the story in just a second as we get down to the mat. All right, at the top of your mat, take a big breath up. Exhale, have a seat chair pose. Fold forward to Uttanasana, step back to down dog. Breathe. And now on your next exhale, bring your knees to the mat, come all the way down into fours. Reach for your pillow, your blanket, or your bolster, and you're going to put it perpendicular on the mat again, so it's perpendicular to your body. Your frontal hip bones, that's the top of the pelvis, right? The frontal hip bones, ASIS, so it's the top of the pelvis. So if you put your hands on your pelvis and you feel the bones of your pelvis, the iliac crest, if you come around to the front, you'll feel two bony prominences, right? So hands feel the shelf of the pelvis, two bony prominences. That's the frontal hip bones. And we want those on the back edge of what's facing you. So the front edge would be the edge closest to the direction of your head. The back edge, your bottom edge, is the part closest to your feet. So two frontal hip bones on the back edge of the object. So if it's a bolster, that's where you're placing it. If it's a pillow, on the back edge. And what that'll do is weight your pelvis so that you can easily lift up. So if you're not there, it's hard to lift the torso, right? So that's me not on my frontal hip bones on the back edge. All right, rest your head down just for a moment and breathe. Keeping your hands underneath your forehead, lift your elbows up, squeeze your legs together, press down through your legs, and just float your hands and your head up. This is a great back strengthener. Breathe, it's a big deal. It might make your breath fuller. Might increase your heart rate to stay here and breathe. Move through your heart as you reach back through your legs and lower down. Keep your left leg on the mat, pressing down and squeezing towards the midline and reaching from pelvis to left foot. Bend your right knee, flex your right ankle. So right knee's bent, right ankle flexed. With your left forearm on the ground, push down and reach back with your right hand for your right foot. So you're in a quad stretch again. There you go. Spread your toes. Now, rather than turning your belly to the right, turn your belly and your ribs to the left. So you start to square your torso up. So your torso is no longer turning open to the right as best you can from deep inside the pelvic bowl, turning the tissue of the belly and then the bones of the rib cage from the right to the left. As you spread your toes and bend your right elbow, move the head of your right arm bone back and press your right foot away, but resist with your hand. Take another breath. And then as you exhale, lower your torso down, release your leg and rest. Put your hands underneath your forehead like a pillow and breathe. Now anchor down through the right leg. Your right leg is going to stay long. Reach out through it, squeeze it to the midline. Use your right forearm and push to lift your torso up. Bend your left knee. Reach back with your left hand, receive your left foot. Right forearm is in a forearm plank position and it pushes. It's what helps support you in the lift of the torso. Bending your left elbow, typically when we reach back for the left foot, the left shoulder will come forward. So move the head of the left arm bone, right where the arm bone meets the chest, move it back. And the only way you can do that is to bend your elbow. Then you can get the left shoulder girdle to move back, head of the arm bone back. Keep that, and now turn from deep inside your belly, from left to right. So the torso wants to turn open to the left because your left arm's in the back plane holding your left foot. And now we're going to counter that with turning your left ribs, left belly to the right so that you are squaring your torso up to the floor. Keep what you have, breathe, push with your right arm, press down with your right leg, spread all your toes, and begin pushing your left foot away and resisting with your left hand. Take another breath. And then as you exhale, release the left leg, rest your head, breathe. So head down, legs down, arms down, resting in prone position, which is on your belly. A good position for lungs is prone. All right, bring your hands by your chest wall, push up into all fours. If you've got a prop beneath you, a bolster blanket, just send it on its way out of your way, so it's off your mat. Back to all fours position. Work your hands a full handprint forward of your shoulder girdle and tuck your toes. Push with your hands and feet. Lift your pelvis up and back into downward facing dog and breathe. Walk your hands and your feet towards one another. Bring your hands to your pelvis. Move your heart forward. In breath and come up. Take a wide stance on your yoga mat. Your right foot will be your back foot, so turn your right foot slightly in. Turn your left foot all the way open. Reach your arms up to the sky and out to a T. Steady and strong in your back leg by rooting down from out right or hip. I can't even say it. Right outer hip, there we go, to right outer heel. And then release your front hip to come into a knee bend. So you've moved into the general form of Warrior Two. Virabhadrasana 2. Turn your gaze to look at your front arm. Let's bring the right hand to the pelvis, right hand to pelvis, and anchor down. Use your right hand at your right pelvis. to drive weight down your right leg into your right heel. Rotate from the head of your left arm bone, left palm to the sky. Now, before we go any further, we are going to reverse the warrior, but let's turn from the belly, from the ribs, from right to left. So let's turn. Turn the belly, turn the ribs from right to left. So your belly and your ribs are now turning just a little bit more towards your left inner knee. Anchor down into the outer heel of your right foot. Lift up through your heart and reverse your warrior. Your bottom arm can definitely reach down your right leg any amount. So it's released from your right pelvis and right arm extending as left arm exalts up. So this is very uplifting, these shapes we're taking today. Push with your feet, inhale and come up, arms back to Virabhadrasana 2. And on the exhale, release your arms down, lengthen your left leg, turn your feet parallel, and now turn your left foot slightly in. So we're moving to our second side. Right foot turns all the way open. Spread your toes. Pull your feet towards one another. Reach your arms up and out to a T. Release your front hip, come into warrior 2. Your gaze can look over your right hand. So in these poses that we practice, all these cues that I offer give you an opportunity to discover the truthfulness of where you are in your body, where you are in your mind, how you're connecting with them. The shapes we take energetically are life affirming. Bring your back hand to your pelvis. So holding on to your pelvis, root down from your pelvis to your outer heel. And when we ground through our legs, we're affirming our life. We're here, we've manifested, we've grounded, we've landed, right? And then we rise from that. So from the head of the front arm bone to the palm, rotate the palm skyward. Today we're practicing what the belly and the ribs do, right? On these back bends. So belly ribs are going to turn just a little bit more towards your front leg. Now you want to lead it from the pit of the belly down in the pelvic bowl like you've been practicing. Yeah, so left belly, left side of the belly, left ribs turning right. Stay with your breath. Lift up through your heart. Keep the uplifting of your heart. Reach down with your left arm, up with your right. Exalted warrior. Breathe. A very uplifting pose. A couple more breaths here. Next breath, arms back to warrior 2, ribs, shoulders, head, right on top of the pelvis. Gaze into the distance, out over the right hand. See beyond. Push with your feet, lengthen your legs, release your arms down. Turn your feet parallel, bring your hands to your pelvis. Breathe. And on your exhale with your knees bending just a little bit so that you may tip from your pelvis easily. Move from the hip joints to forward fold. Hands come to the mat. Release your head down. Breathe. Spreading your toes. Press your shins towards one another. Move your inner thighs apart. And to do that, you might have to bend your knees a little bit. Walk both hands over towards your left foot. And then finger crawl your right hand on a diagonal out. Keeping your left leg long, bend your right knee. Left leg stays long. Left hand at foot. Right arm reaching on a diagonal while the right side of the pelvis pulls away because you've bent the right knee. Breathe. Keeping a lift in your right armpit, push with your right fingers, push with both feet to lengthen your legs, walk your hands back to center. So I was thinking about the efficacies of the practice yesterday as I was planning this class. Walk both hands over to the right foot. I received an email from a fellow teacher that lives up in the Northeast, and she had been having pain in her hip With your right hand at your right foot, finger crawl your left arm on a diagonal. Keep your left armpit lifting. Breathe. Bend your knees just a little bit. Press your shins in, move your inner thighs apart. And then bend your left knee. And last fall, when I saw her at an event, I helped her feel better. I gave her some yoga therapy, and she was out of pain. Well, she hadn't been doing the exercises because of everything that's been going on, and she was back in pain and not able to walk really well again. And then for 2 days, she got back on all the homework that I had given her. It wasn't much. I didn't give her much homework. I just said, do it a lot. Do it regularly throughout your day. And she was out of pain and free again. And that's an efficacy of the practice. But for us, it's like staying steady with the practice. You know, we think, oh, I'm done. I've done it. I'm good. Breathe. Keep drawing the left side of your pelvis back as you lift up through your left armpit. Push with both feet. Lengthen your legs. Walk your hands back to center. Bend your knees. Keep your hands on the floor. Spreading your toes, press down into your heels, and then press your shins in and move your inner thighs apart. Keep that with the knees bent. Move your heart forward as you bring your hands to your pelvis. Root down from pelvis to feet, in breath, and come up. So sometimes heel toe, heel toe, heel toe. An efficacy of the practice is that we're out of pain or we feel physically better. Other times it's that we're emotionally, we feel better. But over the larger arc of our life, right? Not just like a day-to-day thing like managing mood and pain. Over the larger arc of our life, are our actions and words becoming more truthful? Is how we approach everything more life-affirming? And in general, do we have an uplifted spirit or nature? All right, you're going to need a wall for this. So all that's attitude, right? It's a little attitude moment. You might want to have a wall for this one, or a piece of furniture, or just freestyle it in the middle of the room. So I'm going to turn to face right. So I'm standing on my right foot, left leg bends, left knee to chest. You are welcome to touch a wall, hold on to a chair for balance. So left knee to chest. If you're not holding on to something for balance, right hand is at the pelvis. So I've got my right hand at my pelvis, holding on to me. Keep what you have, breathe, lift up through your heart. And now take a little flexion of your spine and slide your left hand down till it finds your right ankle. And then bring your right knee underneath your pelvis. So you did this laying on your belly a little bit ago. All right, bend your left elbow, spread your toes. Root down from the right side of your pelvis into your right heel. So you lengthen your right leg. Coming into greater hip extension by drawing your tail down and lifting up through your heart. That should increase the quad stretch right there. Tail down, heart up. Keeping your left knee lined up with your right knee, bend your right elbow, move the head of your right arm bone back. So you've opened up your armpit chest. Now, what are we going to do with the belly and the ribs? We've been practicing it, and so I know you're already on it because I just asked the question. You're probably like, I got it, I got it. Okay, so left side of the belly, left ribs. Turn to the right. It doesn't mean they turn way right. They're just realigning. And when they realign, you will increase the quad hip flexor stretch. Take another breath. And then on your next breath, release your left foot down. Okay, you could turn around and go the other way if you're holding on to a wall or a chair. Or if you're in the middle of your mat, freestyling it, balancing without holding on to an object, here we go. All choices are good. Standing on your left leg, right knee to chest, draw it up, and we're here for a moment. Left hand, I have it at my pelvis, and it's squeezing my pelvis. So my left hand is holding my pelvis and squeezing it in a little bit, and that's a hug to the midline action, which helps keep us balanced. Take another breath here. And now move your right hand to the right shin bone, top of it, underneath your knee. See if you can really work it on a glide. So you're going to glide your right hand down your right shin bone till it meets your ankle. And then bring your right knee underneath you so your right knee and left knee are next door to one another, right? So right knee is not moving behind you. Not today, another day, another practice. Today it's about belly and ribs and lining those up. So let's bend the right elbow, spread all 10 toes. Move the head of your right arm bone back so you've opened your right armpit chest. Now that's just given the opportunity now to turn from inside the belly, deep inside in the pelvic bowl. Turn the belly from right to left. Turn the ribs from right to left. And just feel how that shift increases the stretch through the front of the right side of you. To augment it, to uplift it, the next action is to really draw down through your tail and lift up through your heart just a little bit more. But don't lose the turn of the belly and the ribs, right? As soon as you try to lift up through your heart, you might start turning open to the right again. Another breath. This is making me shake. Breathe. Release your right foot and stand. Woo, feel those legs. All good? All right, to the top of your mat. Here we go. Big breath up. Exhale, have a seat, chair pose. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Step back to downward facing dog, please. All right, bend your knees. Spread your toes. Lift your sitting bones up to the sky. And now from the bottom of your heart to your feet, reach. From the bottom of your heart, through your ribs to your armpits, to your hands, reach. Now, can you tell which way your belly's turning here? We do have a tendency, we all have a little bit of rotation in us. It's part of our functional pattern. So what's the truth here? You know, which way do you feel your belly or your ribs turning? And you can just lovingly guide them to center. All right, stand on your left foot. You might want to move it a little bit towards the midline. Bend your left knee a little bit and push with your left foot till you feel your left buttock tone. Reach long through the right leg to raise your right leg in the air. Bend your right knee. Yeah, so we're not turning the pelvis open today, right? So we've got the right knee bent, right leg in the air, left knee slightly bent and pushing with the left foot so that you feel the left buttock tone. Breathe. Now with the right knee in the air, the tendency is going to be for the ribs and the belly to turn what direction? To the right. So turn your belly and your ribs back to the left. Pick your right knee up higher. Turn your belly and your ribs back to the left. You're not going past neutral in belly and ribs. You're just aligning. Extend through your right leg. Return it to the mat. Walk hands and feet towards one another. Bring your hands to your pelvis. In breath, then come up. Release your arms down. Walk to the top of your mat. Second side. Big breath up. Exhale, have a seat, chair pose. Fold forward, Uttanasana. Step back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees, root your hands well. Breathe. From the bottom of your heart, through your pelvis to your legs, root down. From the bottom of your heart, you got to locate it. You can't just be like, yada, yada, yada. Where's the bottom of your heart? Through your armpits, through your arms to your hands, reach. Now work your right foot maybe a little bit more to the midline and bend your right knee. Push so much from pelvis to foot on the right side that you feel your right butt tone. Keeping your left leg long, lift your left leg up. Breathe. On an exhale, bend your left knee. So left leg's in the air, left knee's bent. Can lift the left knee a little bit higher to the sky. And now you know the dance. It's belly and ribs on the left side, turning right. So it's not like we're doing a twist. We're just aligning the center of us. Breathe. Lift the left knee higher. See if you can maintain. Deep in the pelvic bowl, left side of the belly, turning right, left ribs turning right, just to bring you to neutral ribs, neutral belly. Another breath. Extend through your left leg, lower it down. Walk your hands and your feet towards one another. Hands to the pelvis, knees bent, heart forward. Push down from pelvis to feet to in-breath and come up. Woo, that one made me shake too. Top of the mat, in-breath, reach up. Exhale, have a seat. Those really small actions. When you're true, when you're really true in those small, deep actions, they are big. Exhale, fold forward. All right, Uttanasana, let your head drop. Standing forward fold. Bend your knees a little bit. Lift your sitting bones up a little bit. So knees stay bent, but tip your sitting bones higher. Let your ribs and your head descend. Let your shoulders drip. One more breath. All right, bend your knees a lot, and let's have a seat on our mat. Have a seat. Hold on to your hamstrings and lay down on your back all the way down on your back. All right, with your knees bent and your feet on the floor, line your heels up with your sitting bones and space your feet about the width of your pelvis. And what that'll bring is probably your knee and your ankle fairly on top of one another, right? Knee and ankle stacked is what you're aiming for. Now bend your elbows. These are called robot arms. So when your elbows are bent and your palms are facing one another, what's on the mat is elbow tips to head of the arm bones. Now press back with the head of the arm bones. So it's moving the head of the arm bones back. That'll open the front of your armpit chest. Breathe. Push with your feet, push with your arms and swallow. Pressing your head back, lift your pelvis up. Stay with your breath. Now again, we have a tendency in life to have some rotations in us. It's just a functional pattern that we've built based on how we work in our lives, how we sit at our desk, where our computer monitor is oriented. A lot of it too will come from driving, the body positioning we're taking in the car, where we sit and watch TV and how we turn our body and keep it in that position while we're watching a screen. So here in bridge, as you push more with your feet and press with your arms, can you tell where your belly and your ribs are turned towards? It might be really small, right? It might be so minor that you're really going to have to listen to you to sense it. But if you sense that belly and ribs are turning just slightly a particular direction, turn them back to center. Deep in the pelvic bowl. And now that you've realigned through the energetic lines of you, push with your feet and your arms just a little bit more. That is one long bridge. All right, next breath, reach out through your tail, lower all the way down. So we have two more of those. Yeah, back bends are big life-affirming poses, very uplifting poses. They energetically help us shine. And back bends are great for a morning practice. Not so good for an evening practice because they'll keep you awake. So back bends create an energetic uplifting, which is a good way to start our day. It's like drinking a cup of coffee. Ready for your next one? Hands and feet. All right, so hands are facing one another with elbows bent. Feet are lined up, sitting bone, width of the pelvis. Root into your arm bones, head of the arm bones, press your skull back and swallow, pick your pelvis up. Notice where your ribs are, your belly is located. Is it turned in a particular direction? Align it to center. And that shift might be so subtle, right? It probably is, it's definitely not a movement. It's more of an action. And for some of you, it might just be an intention, right? All you have to do is think it. And there's this shift deep inside of you that aligns you around your center. Take a couple more breaths now. Move the head of the arm bones back a little bit more. Push with your feet to lift your pelvis. So are you feeling like glutes, hamstrings firing? Absolutely. That back body's got to hold you up. Take another breath. Reach out through your tail, extend through the top of your head, lower your spine down by flexing at your hips. Just rest your arms, don't change your shape. We have one more big one. Let's see if we can start with the alignment. Wouldn't that be cool? Like rather than once we're in the pose to turn, could we adjust here? Can we sense like, where's the ribs, where's the belly? Bring them to center, right? What do you have to do to align the ribs and the belly from the start? All right, so hopefully you still have your feet aligned, right? Heels with sitting bones, feet the width of your pelvis. Arms are down on the mat with elbows bent, palms facing one another, fingers and toes spread. Head of the arm bones go back. Now check back in with the belly and ribs. So before we even go up in the air, can you align from deep in center? Breathe. Keep what you have, push with your feet and come up. It might feel weird to come up because you have strength patterns that might rely on that very slight rotation at center. So coming up might feel different. It also may not feel as powerful, and that's okay. Breathe here, stay aligned, and now juice it up by pushing with your feet more, pushing with the head of the arm bones. But notice, are the ribs and belly turning, right? When you juice it up, do you end up going into your pattern of a very slight rotation in a particular direction? Reaching out through the top back of your head and your tail, lower all the way down. We're going to flip over and do one down dog, and then we'll be right back on our back. So just one neutralizing pose, and let's do a down dog. So hands to the mat in all fours, hands forward to the shoulders, pointer finger and thumb outer with the shoulder girdle. Press up and back into your down dog. Breathe. So you just did 3 pretty significant back bends in a row with amazing alignment. And we're just going into a neutral shape that's less deep than knees to chest, right? Knees to chest is a pretty big forward fold, and that would be a gigantic counter after what you did. So we're easing ourselves into a counter pose. All right, good job. Bring your knees to the mat. Flip back over onto your back. Now a deeper forward fold. Draw your right knee to your chest. Can you see how a knee to chest is a deeper forward fold than a down dog? The knee joint, the hip joint's really closed. Stretch your right leg up to the sky for a hamstring stretch. You can hold anywhere along the right leg, back of the hamstring, back of the calf. Spread your toes. Reach from your right sitting bone to your right heel and press your right thigh bone into your hands. So your right thigh bone's pressing back and your hands resist the press. Okay, bend your right knee, return your right foot to the ground. Left knee to chest, that's a really big fold. Look how deeply folded the left hip crease is, the left knee. They're completely folded. It's the opposite of what you were doing with bridge, right? We were opening the front of the pelvis in bridge. Opening and aligning the center of you. All right, stretch your left leg up to the sky, hamstring stretch on the left leg. Press your left thigh bone back. And then reach from your left sitting bone to your left heel as you spread your toes. Continue to widen through your collarbone so the head of the arm bones can move towards the mat. Bend your left knee, return your left foot to the ground, right knee to chest again. Stretch your right leg long so you're back to your hamstring stretch on the right leg. Take your right leg now and cross the midline just a little bit. So right leg is going left, and that will most likely change the sensation of the hamstring stretch. It might move from hamstring that's mostly in the back to hamstring that's moving towards the side into the buttock area. Right, in-breath, right leg back to center, bend your right knee, return your right foot to the ground. Left leg stretches long, hands hold your left leg at the hamstring. Push down with your right foot and breathe. Keeping your eyes soft, take your left leg and cross the midline. Doesn't have to go far, you'll feel it. The hamstring stretch will change. Breathe. Okay, left leg back to center, left knee bends. Meet the soles of both feet together. Knees are going out wide. So this is bound ankle pose on your back, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of the feet touching, pinky toe edges of the feet pressing down. Both soles pressing equally. So right foot pushing, left foot pushing. And then draw your heels towards your pelvis. And that's an isometric movement. They don't actually move. They isometrically try to draw in. Keep that and then reach from your hip crease to your knees to open the shape. So think about expanding from the creases of your hips to your knees. One more breath. On an exhale, bring your knees together. Your feet will land flat on the floor. Cross your right leg over your left into figure 4. Draw your left knee into your chest. We did a little bit of balancing today, so let's stretch out the right outer hip. So right leg crossed over left in figure 4, left knee to chest. Hands hold the left hamstring, which means your right hand threads in between the two legs. Release your left foot to the ground, uncross your right. Standing on your right foot, left leg crosses over figure 4. So left ankle to left quadricep. On an exhale, right knee to chest. Both hands hold the right hamstring. So left hand threads through the middle, in between the two legs. And then you hand clasp both hands at the right hamstring. Breathe. Next breath, right foot to the ground, left leg uncrosses. Open your arms out to a T, palms open. Work your knees and your feet together so that they're one at the middle of you. Keeping your legs squeezing together, drop both knees to the right. With both knees dropping to the right, turn your gaze to look left. With knees dropping to the right, it means belly and ribs are turning left. In breath to center. Take another breath, and on an exhale, both knees drop to the left, which means deepen the belly bowl and the rib cage, left to right. Belly and ribs moving from left to right. Head turns to look right. Squeeze your legs together. In breath to center. Draw both knees into your chest. You can peel your head up. If it feels good, you can rock side to side. And now stretch your legs out long for Shavasana. Arms down by your side, palms open. Notice how you feel. What has been the efficacy of the practice for you today? It may be physical, maybe you physically feel better. It might be a mindset, maybe your mind is in a different place after the practice. And then recognizing in the consistency, the dedication to the practice of yoga, there are larger efficacies that arc this individual experience. And the proof of the practice is in our actions and our words and our thoughts. And one of the fruits of the practice is that through our actions, words, and thoughts, we are becoming more truthful, more life affirming, and more uplifting. Let it all go. Nothing more to do or think about. Let yourself be heavy and rest